Hey everybody, this is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. First of all, I want to give a shout out to our main sponsors, Rise and Sons, the award-winning brewery in Cork. Now, I'm delighted to welcome Chris and Leighton from the Boat Sank. How are we, lads?
How's it going? All good, yes.
Thank you for joining me on this lovely sunny night here anyway, in down Munster anyway. It looks nice behind you as well, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm still in Munster, so it's all good in the lower part of Munster. Yeah, or the north part of Munster.
All sunny here in Ulster for a change as well, which is nice. So
cool. So
can't complain.
Yeah,
we'll have a few beers and stuff. Chris, what are you drinking?
I'm on here. I showed you this before we started, but I think people just need to see this. This is just in all its beauty.
Oh,
but
cool.
It's Japanese whiskey. Check this out. Isn't that awesome?
That's fucking class.
Oh yeah, normally it works.
He's trying to take the head of a samurai bottle off.
Yeah.
That's
samurai.
Awesome. That's
unfortunately awesome. I can't compete with that. I have Brewdog Punk IPA. So cheers anyway, lads.
Cheers, Lancia.
Cheers. Water. So woo.
What the fuck? For fuck's sake, alcohol free.
Oh, dude.
Get that in the bin.
What the hell? That's what happens, folks, when you leave your wife go buying beer for you. I am drinking. Look, alcohol. I knew by the taste. Alcohol-free Punk IPA.
I
got it by accident. Oh no.
Jesus Christ almighty.
Accident, yeah. I've listened to him upstairs talking shit for too long. I'm going to give him the alcohol-free beer.
I know what'll stop him snoring.
Anyway, apart from this crisis, only mini crisis, I'll get used to it. I'll drink anything anyway. So welcome to the show, lads. Delighted to have you on.
Thanks very much.
Exciting things coming down the line for the Boat Sank.
Yeah, man, this is, you know what? It's been a friggin' crazy year. Like, it's like where we are now compared to where we were at the start of the year it's two different bands. It's two different, like, orbits. It's incredible. And yeah, just keeping that momentum up and just seeing how far we can go with it, you know?
Yeah.
It's, man, it's cool.
Leighton, would you agree with that?
Yeah. Like, at the start of the year, we're like, we'll do this Metal to the Masses thing and see if we can get a gig out of it and see if we can maybe get a vocalist. And now we're just this instrumental piece. And I think it's working out really well. Chris, what do you think, man?
Yeah, definitely. It's everything's just falling into place. I love it when a plan comes together. You know, it's all just it's all happening.
And what's your background? Like, he came out of nowhere, really. And I'll tell you straight up now, all credit to Danielle for spotting it. And you might want to fill us in how you came across him first, Danielle, and then we'll get the.
I don't remember. Was it maybe I seen the lineup for Crypt of the Riff, and I was like, who are these guys? And put them on the playlist because, as most people listening know, like, you're really up my alley, like your sound. And I think that's how I found you, or else I just, because, you know, sometimes you run out of things for the Sunday worship and you kind of
No, you don't, Daniel.
Well, I just start looking in places. No, because I'm like, I've put that band on. I try and have a new band every week, but, you know, sometimes you go in search of a band, and you guys turned up and it was beautiful. Yeah, I think you messaged me afterwards, Richie, and was like, "Oh, good find here."
Yeah. Straight away, you appealed to me as well. So go on, let's hear about the background.
Well, it started out. Leighton and I were both in a band for years, a long time, called Plague Artists. It was like a post grunge rock band from Belfast, and brilliant music. Like, we wrote, I know I'm biased obviously saying that, but like, the music was great. It was really, but it wasn't heavy enough for the likes of Distortion Project and James Loveday and those guys to book us. And it was slightly too heavy for like the singer-songwriter rock, kind of soft rock scene that was around at the time. And we got 3 EPs out there. They're still on Spotify. Really, really good, well produced, really put together well. Mm-hmm. And it just never happened. And I think Leighton and I were both kind of heartbroken with just, we're putting a lot into this and nothing is coming of it at all.
Right.
And the other guys in the band were getting a bit older, and just kind of gigging wasn't really something they wanted to do. Whereas Leighton and I were just like chomping at the bit to really friggin' like to do something else. And other bands that kind of like, as a drummer, you get it all the time. Like there's not a month goes by I don't get a message from some band looking me to drum for them, and there's only so many ways you can say no. But yeah, it was I tried out a couple of different people, a couple of different guys. I turned up and kind of like on the sly, so I wouldn't tell plague artists. I was like sneaking off to other band practices, and they're like, "Are you coming, Chris?" I was like, "Oh, I'll be there in a half an hour." Bad traffic. Meanwhile, I'm like packing up my gear, 3 doors down in the same building.
Heavily disguised.
Cheating.
Yeah.
Oh my
you know
God.
what? It was proper cheating. That's what it was like. I was like, I'm having multiple affairs here with other bands. And and actually, you had Mark on from Indominus.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So Mark was on, and he had messaged me a while ago, and it must have been a couple of years ago now, before COVID kind of times, and he was like, "Look, need a drummer, come on down." And I'd never played metal. I'm a punk rock. I'm a rock drummer, and I'd never played metal music at all. Didn't really do the whole blast beat, the double kick thing. It just wasn't something I was into really.
Right.
And he was like, "Come on down, give us a try. It's heavy." And I was like, "Right, fuck it. I need to sort of broaden my horizons, try something good." Turned up, they've got a new guitarist in as well. So it's like, we'll have a jam, we'll see how this goes. And this other guy, Charlie, it was his first day practicing with them. And he started like chugging some riffs. And I think he started playing some Mastodon. It was Blood and Thunder. So he's like, dud, 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 and I went straight on the drums. And him and I just locked eyes and we're like, fuck, man, this is cool. And it was like, like one of those moments, like a meet cute. The two of us were like, hey, this is going well. And then we kicked it off and it was good. And we sort of started trying a couple of Indominus numbers and stuff. And then when we're leaving, I said to Charlie, dude, you and me, I think we should, do your own thing.
Christ,
so
Daniel, are you hearing this?
Another cheat. You're bad.
I know, man. I pinched him.
Jesus.
So I pinched Charlie from Indominus, stole him, and I was like, right, I've got this bass player. Like me and Leighton, we've played together for so long. Like we could just lock in. We just know what each other's thinking. And I was like, right, Charlie, you will fit perfectly into this. So we would we rented a room. The Plague Artists had a room in Blackstaff where it seems to be nearly every band in Belfast seems to practice there. Yeah. So we were renting this room with this like shoegaze band called Winona Bleach. And we'd practice on a Thursday night from sort of 8 to 10, was it, Leighton, I think? And we decided, right, Charlie, come on down at like 6 o'clock. Yeah. Come on down 6. We'll do an hour's jamming before the other guys from the band get here. So we texted the other guys like, yeah, we're going to be a bit late today. So of course we're all jamming away, and then the singer from the other band walks in, and it was literally that moment of being caught with your pants down. You know what I mean? That's an awkward conversation.
The one day everyone's early.
Exactly, right. The one time. And it was just like, honestly, I still wake up at night going,
were they pure like you? Oh, was it as good as us? Was it as good as us? Huh?
It was, yeah. Because once Charlie had kind of packed the stuff up and left, one of the singer of the band was like, so,
you can pack your fucking stuff. Follow
it's
Charlie.
like, well, I've got 2 drum kits in here, so it's going to take me a lot longer than you. So one of us has to go. Oh, no, it was all amicable. I think it had just reached this kind of its time. Sometimes a band just gets there, all amicable, no hard feelings. And then the 3 of us decided to start the Boat Sank. And that was it. It was just a case of weekly coming into the room, jamming, writing just all these riffs that we had. Charlie, it's such a shame he's not on tonight. He's like this absolute genius. Everyone says the guitarist in our band is the riff master, but Charlie genuinely is the riff master. Every week he'll have something and you're like, how the fuck can you top that? And then next week he'll do something else and you go, how the fuck are you going to top that? And then, do you know what I mean? It's mind-blowingly cool.
That's great, isn't it? Because there's some fantastic examples of 3 pieces all over the country, Danielle, isn't there?
Yeah, sure, Grey Stag. Loads of 3 pieces around this. But you guys had a vocalist for a song.
That's me.
Yes. Oh, was it you?
Yeah.
Class.
Yeah.
What? So what made you not sing anymore? Were you just like, no?
Have you ever tried to drum and sing at the same time?
Yeah, I have.
Fuck,
It's
man.
awful.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even serious. It was Wayne from the Wrong Kind of Music podcast. they had mentioned, they were like talking about the band, and they were like, wow, this band came out of nowhere. And it's like, normally I don't like instrumental music, which is something we hear all the time, and I love hearing it. It's like, we don't like instrumental music, but and it's like, fuck yeah, you're right, we're great. But yeah, he'd said something about, like, where could you couldn't put lyrics in that music. You couldn't do any singing in there. So we were watching the podcast, and we were like, oh, can we not? Fucking watch me, hold my beer. And just banged it out and gave it a shot. It was good. Like, I mean, I don't think I'd want to do it. I don't think I'd want to do it live. Like,
which song was it, Chris?
The Atlantean.
Oh, fucking hell. So that's the one that straight away reminds me of Tool.
Cool.
For me,
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, like, and as I said, just the vocal delivery is fantastic with it. So, wow.
I mean, it's a bit James Hetfield kind of trying to be like, I found myself doing the like whenever you're about to drop the note, you go wah, and it kind of just fixes it. But it's like a real bad Hetfield impersonation. And I appreciate you saying that.
No, Jesus, all credit. That was out this year then.
Yeah, everything's been out pretty much this year. Yeah, I think Neptune's Wrath came out last year, but they're all demos. They were all just, those songs actually were written in the old room before we got where we are now. Now, and Charlie would just turn up with like 2 microphones. We'd just play it, and we had this thing about not doing everything, like chopping it in, like, you know, building up a drum piece of like 4 or 5 takes. It was like, it needs to be 1 take. It can't be more. It has to be that 1 take. And it gave us this discipline to every time we're doing a bass guitar take or guitarist or drums, it has to be that one. I mean, you can, if it's shit, you can start again, but it has to be a full playthrough, no chopping and changing, to give it that natural flow. And
yeah, you can feel that in it, all right. You can feel it in the music. It doesn't feel overproduced. Which is great.
Yeah. Well, Charlie, I mean, again, Charlie, the genius that he is, he's mad into sort of self-produced and everything, and he wants to do it all, and he's a perfectionist with it. But he's not like, a lot of bands will produce a song to a certain way, then they'll do the next song, and it has to sound the same as the song before, production-wise. Whereas Charlie's kind of thing is, this song is a much more hardcore song, so I want to produce it like a hardcore punk song. This next one is a kind of a, you know, an instrumental Tool kind of proggy song, so I want to produce it like that. And I think that works so much better, lending it to the song rather than having like an overall album sound or an EP sound, you know?
Yeah.
So credit to him, like, he's fucking class.
So, Leighton, how would you approach it then?
Yeah, he's putting that. He's put the recording in that and stuff. Oh, I'm just listening to Charlie and taking what he says. So
you're kind of stuck in between the two.
Try and get like the verse down, but if I need to change an effect or something, or keep an effect. Oh, completely. But like Charlie's amazing. Like, Chris, what's he not like? Like, he just obsesses over this stuff. Like, he'll go away and he'll research and stuff like that. And basically, I think he's watched all YouTube twice now. You know, with all these different bits of advice and stuff.
He's completed YouTube.
But he's actually, yeah. He's what's the word? He's prestiged. He's YouTube twice. Fine.
Madness.
And Leighton,
he's got
who
a
your heroes,
or something. My
influences.
Okay, I love like, I'm a big fan of like 9 Inch Nails. Like, like Chris is sick listening to me talk about them, and like Ministry as well. So like, I love Al Jorgensen and stuff, you know. But like, you know, bass wise, like, yeah, definitely Justin Chancellor from Tool, Les Claypool from Primus and stuff and all. But like, I love the like characters, you know, from like 9 Inch Nails. Like, see Danny Loner. I think he's an absolute genius. I don't think he gets the credit like he's due. Like, you know, the stuff he's done with like Pacifier and even like the Reinholder stuff he's done on his own. Like the guy's is brilliant, and like, I've seen him interviewed a couple of times. He just comes across like really, really well, and his Instagram's brilliant. Like, he's so funny on it. Like, he's cool, and even like, you know, like the classics and stuff and all. Like, I love like Bob Marley and the band and Zeppelin and all the others like that. Like, and definitely like, Pantera and stuff and all like that as well.
Yeah, so it's a wide
But
range
yeah,
there.
like uh, yeah, but I think that's an important thing. Like, the more you listen to, like, the more varied like you can be as well. Like, and that's what we try and do. Like, every song like always different. Like that's the big one. Like, Mike Patton, like Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, Tomahawk, that kind of thing. Like, like Chris says, like, service the song, like, so every song's the same, not necessarily we're going for a sound, we're going more of like a vibe. And I think we're starting to get that, as we're building up our songs now. We're up to what nearly 8 now, Chris, completed.
8 completed and about 25 that are nearly there.
Yeah.
It's just choosing which one to focus on.
Yeah, and about 6 million of Charlie's riffs.
Yeah, a terabyte hard drive just full of Charlie's riffs.
Yeah. Like it's interesting because I mean, through Pat and the Smash and Skull sessions and his love of post metal and post rock as well, that a lot of those bands don't have singers, you know what I mean? But I think they augment their sound by having a second or a third guitarist in there anyway. I'd be very interested to see what route you're going to go down that way in relation to trying to maybe expand your sound, I suppose. Now, I haven't seen you live, to be fair, either, so I'm not sure what the Boat Sank, the live experience is like.
Yeah, well, I think going back to the band Leighton and I were in previously, with Plague Artists, we had so much music recorded and we had all our songs sounding exactly how we wanted to sound, just had trouble getting the gigs. And the frustration was the live gigs never lived up to the sound that we'd recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now we're having the opposite trouble where live we can smash these songs out and we can fill a stage, fill a room with just the three of us. And now it's trying to get that sound on to record that sound is the difficult part without it sounding flat. But it's the songs that we had for the first, what's on Spotify so far, those songs were all written with a vocalist in mind, with the thought of at some point we'll have a vocalist. But since Metal and Masses and the stuff we've been writing coming up to that, we kind of decided, listen, we don't really need a vocalist anyway. So we've written that without leaving those, lots of repetition places where the vocals would come in and do a couple of lines, verse, chorus. It's all about, what, we'll just do this until we're ready to move on to the next part. And then we'll move on. And it's like, we never have a verse, chorus. We don't have verses or choruses. It's all this movement, which is kind of like a classical music influence. It's all about just moving through the songs.
Yeah.
And
that's a good description, Danielle.
Yeah, it is. Just kind of talking about your influences. I don't know about you, Richie, but the first thing that came to my mind, especially with the latest single, was Melvins.
Okay.
Very much Melvins vibe.
With Contagion. Contagion.
Yeah. That like the second it started, I was like, Melvins. That's what came to mind.
I heard Queens of the Stone Age then.
Cheers.
I'll take both of those. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. It's interesting because I know Wayne said that he couldn't picture like vocals in the song, but then I thought like, oh, these sound like they're written for vocals, but they work as instrumental. So it's funny the different take on it, because the type of sound that you have and the songs wouldn't usually not have vocalists, wouldn't usually be instrumental. So it's refreshing to hear actually. Like you're there and you're waiting for the vocals. You're like, there is no vocals. There's no need for vocals. It's all cool. you know.
Also, another thing is a very basic thing is that for me personally, a vocalist can ruin a band.
Yes.
And a vocalist, the wrong vocalist can just
point.
Like I know there's one thing that I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, and I know I am, and I probably shouldn't say it.
Band?
But not a local band. Don't worry, there's no such thing as a bad local band. But the likes of Clutch. I'm going to throw that name out there. Okay, Leighton. I can see Leighton curling. He's curling his toes already. But like, there's some songs, his vocals just piss me off. I'm like, that could be such a tune. And he's like, and it's like, fuck, man, just come on. You've got this groovy fucking thing going on, and your vocals are just ruins it. I went to see Deaf Heaven on Tuesday night there. They were playing in Belfast. And I'm not really a fan anyway. I didn't really know much of their stuff. A mate I went with is really into them. So I thought, right, I'll give it a go. I didn't know what the fuck to think, man. He's the wrong vocalist in the wrong band.
Right.
It's like this really gazy, cool, like psychedelic-y chill out stuff. And then this like ridiculous black metal vocals come in. And you're like, dude, what are you... Do you know what I mean? It just ruins... For me, I'm just like, can't have it.
Yeah.
Meshuggah as well. Like, there's some points in Meshuggah, I was like, see if you sing just a little bit less. I'm there.
Yeah.
I totally get that though as well, because sometimes I'm like, this is class, this song is class, and then I'm like, oh, just like tensing myself, waiting for the vocals, being like, please let the vocals live up to the rest of this.
Yeah.
So I can see that. That side of it, all right, yeah. Yeah, you can, if you don't like the vocals of a band, doesn't matter how much you love the rest of it.
Well, that's us off in that
hard-
clutch there, Chris. Cheers.
Yeah.
And it's strange then, because I was at a whole festival where 90% of the bands over 3 days, which is Dunk Festival, there was no singers there. Like, so it was
how did you find that, Richie?
It was very strange initially, but I really got into the whole vibe of it. Although at one stage, myself and my friend Timmy were talking about this band that were on stage, and somebody tapped us on the shoulder and said, "Listen, do you mind keeping it down?" I'm there. Oh, were we loud? In hell. So of course I went over to Pat afterwards and I says, Jesus, you'll never believe what happened. Some guy told us to, keep it down. And he goes, yeah, I could hear you from the other side of the fucking stage.
Okay. Mortifying poor Pat. He's like, I'll bring the lads over now to this festival, and you're making a show of yourselves.
Yeah, so it's all like for a lot of that, it's all emotional. Post-metal, post-rock, like it's building up to the final part of the song, the crescendo, and you're just kind of waiting around for some of those bands. I mean, no band is perfect, but a lot of them tend to just kind of linger too long on certain chords. You know what I mean? Chris,
yeah, that whole post-rock thing. It's like sometimes it's all about the tone and the feel and the atmosphere, and you just want to go play a fucking riff.
Yeah.
Just give me a riff, please. Give me something meaty to hold on to. It's just fucking just give me something heavy. Let me bang my head to something here.
Yeah.
Well,
you're certainly not short of riffs and chugginess, as I would call it, on the 4 songs you're after giving us anyway so far. So we'll have a listen to the current single, which is Contagion. Sorry, Contagion. Yeah. Okay, let's listen to it. would people find fault with the mix? I absolutely love that mix there with fucking every instrument is in your face, but I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Danielle, would you have any issues with that?
No, sure. Like I said earlier, if it doesn't feel overly polished, I think
Yeah.
it's got. But it's not like it doesn't sound like it's recorded through a sock or anything. Like
No.
it's. I think it's perfect. I think
Yeah.
it's
Funny story. No, we're joking.
But you know,
yeah,
there's some
think it's
people will fucking kind of get all snobbish about,
No,
sound
I think
and all that. But Jesus, I just love that the three instruments are just there in your fucking face.
I like
boom.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
And
whole
I
point.
presume
It's supposed to be like just
live.
a kick in the face, and it's supposed to sound live. Like
Live, yeah.
Charlie likes to use room mics as well. And
Okay.
I beat the shit out of the drums. Like I genuinely beat the
Sounds like it.
absolute shit out of them. It was the middle of the Masters final actually. Whenever whenever they were announcing the he was going through, and he was going through the bands. What's David Hall? David Hall's his name, yeah.
Yeah.
He was like
Simon Hall, is it?
Simon
Yeah,
Hall. Simon Hall's like, I have never felt sorry for an
Simon Hall.
inanimate object, but that fucking snare drum took one hell of a beating. So the cymbals as well. Like, I mean, Charlie wanted to capture that, so he's getting room mics and he's getting, microphone in the very corner of the room, up against the wall, like to get all that sound bouncing around. So he's, it's all intentional. It's not like we've just tried to do that and that's how the room sounds. It's very much, this is thought through. We want this to sound raw, like it's on tape. We want this to sound angry, and I think the songs captured that. Whereas whenever we have lots of new music coming out, a lot more maybe Tool influenced, a lot more proggy sounding, it's not going to have that angry feel to it because it's not an angry song, So
That's interesting, actually, and I kind of hope that you do release an EP of that caliber of production that you're on about there. And just to watch you then progress into a whole different rabbit hole of superior producers doing your stuff,
Yeah. I don't think Charlie would let anyone else produce it.
Okay, right. And to know what, that might be a bad thing either.
Be his baby now, like
What was that, Leighton?
he's big into it now, like it seems to be it's his baby, like he's really getting like really in depth into it, like I'd be like trying to get some sleep for work, and you get another ping of a WhatsApp. He goes, this is another mix I've done, like I think I'm getting closer, and then like you're like, oh, yeah, you are, that's brilliant, that's awesome. I get some sleep, and then like ping at 1:30, he's like, oh, you still did it, like, and then there's another mix through, like you're like, whoa, like absolutely, he's such a passion for it, like.
Yeah,
and it's great to see, like it's brilliant, like it's like I think like this are like proper behind it, like there's not one person that's like resting back on their laurels or anything. It's like it's refreshing, like.
And so where did Charlie arrive from? Did any of you speak up for him in relation to his background? Because none of us know anything about him.
I think he likes it that way.
Absolutely fantastic.
He's this mysterious friggin' Polish man bear pig guitarist guy that turns up.
He washed up on the shores of Ireland there 30 years ago, carrying a slab of fucking cans and a guitar.
And the back catalogue of The Witcher. Yeah. No, he studied music, and he's been living in England studying music, and over here as well. And he played in some thrash bands. And actually, again, he's even in his spare time when he's not mixing stuff for us, he's remixing stuff that he did 5 years ago in his little thrash band. Like, it's his hobby, this is what he's good at. But yeah, he was hungry. His band stood up. That's why we met him in Indominus. And yeah, man, he's passionate for it, and he's all in,
I suppose another part of the band is the title, The Boat Sank. Had you a lot of arguments and to and fro over the name before you settled on that one?
I don't think so. I think I actually mentioned it one time as a joke, and Leighton was like, fuck yeah, that's it. It's just punk rock. It's just, the Belfast is famous for like freaking two things. It's the Troubles and the Titanic, and the Titanic's just a fucking boat that sank. Like, get the fuck over it. Like, who cares? It didn't do the one job. Once you get people from one side, it didn't even do that. So why do you give a shit? It wasn't that great. Like, so we just thought, very punk rock, keeping up the whole Belfast punk thing.
Yeah.
Boat Sank. Get over it. That's how we got the gig at the
Yeah, it was,
Grip of the
it was
Riff.
another anniversary, wasn't it, Chris? Yeah.
It was what? What was that, Leighton?
It was another anniversary of the Titanic, and I think that it was like the name, like you text me like it was like another night, another anniversary of the Titanic, and you're like you text me as like on it's in the news again. It's in the news again. It's like over 112 years ago now. Like, like get over it. Fucking boat sank. That's it.
Yeah.
You go in and you're like, the boat sank. It's a great name. It's a great name. And I'm like, anything out there. And then that was it. Like there was no arguing after. Like,
Yeah.
brilliant.
So that's that. And Jake said that's why he booked us into the Crypt of the Rift, because he'd got a couple of recommendations from different people around town saying he checked out this band, they're out of nowhere, they're class. And on our Facebook, on our bio, it's like named after a boat that sank, and he was like, "Fuck, that's cool."
Yeah.
And just literally there and then Texas was like, "Here, do you want to play at the Crypt? I heard you're great. Let's do it." We were like, "Fuck yeah, cool."
So, like, let's talk about gigs. You've had a good few over the last few months. Some really good success with Metal to the Masses.
Yeah.
Did you make the final of that, lads? Did you?
Yeah, final, yeah.
That's some going,
Yeah.
like.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So our first gig was the first heat. Our first ever gig was the first heat of the Metal to the Masses.
Oh.
Our second ever gig was the second heat.
And
And
how
our
many
third gig
songs?
was the final.
How many songs were you bringing into those, Chris?
6.
6. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
6.
And we changed it around. The set from the first one and the third one were different sets. I think we added extra songs and changed things around. And the first gig, we kind of thought, how are we going to fill the dead space? Tuning up guitars between songs when there's no vocalist. There's no guy at the front going, "Hey everybody, you having a good time? Give it up for blah blah. Give it up, everyone. Come move forward." All that bullshit. So we're like, what are we going to do? So I kind of talked shit in between. As you can tell, I can talk for Ulster, like, so I just talk shit between the songs,
Right.
and then the sound guy was like, try adding some samples maybe and you could fill it out.
Yeah.
And it was like this, that moment of like, oh, welcome to the real world. We're like, fuck yeah, samples, let's play around with that. And then we started telling a story through our set.
Oh,
And that's evolved
right,
even
okay.
more to
Okay.
the gig we played on Saturday. It's evolved so much. It's cool, man. Yeah. It's just rolling with it, taking ideas and going. A lot of people go, yeah, maybe we'll try that. Maybe someday. With us, it's not, maybe we'll do that. It's like, if you have like an idea, let's just fucking do it.
Let's
Don't
just go
faff
for it, like.
around. Yeah, just go for it. Make it happen.
Yeah, sometimes you could overthink things, couldn't you, Danielle, as well, if you're
Oh,
a band
absolutely.
trying to
Yeah.
second guess what people want off you.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes back into the production thing as well, like overproducing things. And I think as well, like in live gigs, there's a certain amount of chaos in a live gig in general. So things aren't going to go. So you kind of need to roll with the punches with those type of things. So it seems like adding the samples, really, that's you guys just rolling with it and just embracing that you're going to have to adapt to make a better band, really. It's class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And what about the song flow, we'll say, going from Metal to the Masses? Can you name out a few of the songs that you had lined up and what you chopped around with?
Well, we opened up with Neptune's Wrath.
Okay.
Because it's very Mastodon-y. It's very much,
yeah.
it opens
Great
up very
song.
loads of cymbals. The whole song builds up and it's fun because when you start playing that, one of the heats we were on like second, I think, or first, and between the bands, everybody goes out quickly. You've got 15 minutes, go out, grab a pint, have a smoke outside. So, but normally you kind of stagger in when the second or third song's being played. So we're looking at our time. We wanted to make sure our first gig was professional. We wanted to be on stage and off stage before time so that we weren't fucking things up timing wise, because you can get a reputation for that. So we thought, no, we're going to be professional. And we came in and there was like 10 people in the room when we were going to start our first song. And we kick into it, the cymbals go off and the music's and you just watch people like actually running through the door to get to and it was just like this confidence boost, this great feeling of fuck, people actually like this music. The first time we put it out there, no one really had heard us, no one listened. We had one song, I think, on Spotify at the time. But yeah, and then the whole room filled up with that song. And it was just by the end of that song, we looked out. I normally have my glasses off, but I had my glasses on, and was like, fuck, man, this place is packed. The one song in.
Yeah.
So we played, we had Neptune's Wrath, we had Contagion, we had Half Man, Half Bear, Half Pig, and we finish off with Atlantean. But we tweaked it. We definitely tweaked the set from the first gig to the one we used for a while until Saturday there. It was it was start off big, keep it thrashy. The first 2 songs are very in your face. Then we'll have a stonery vibe, and then it finishes off with like a kind of we've got a song called Man Must Weep, which is, if you think we sound a little bit like Tool, that would be the one that sounds most like Tool.
Okay.
I think, and then finish off the Atlantean. So it's definitely got this wave to the set.
Yeah.
Which is more so I wanted to have a break because the first 3 songs are fucking fast.
Yeah.
And I'm out of breath by the end of it, so I need to sort of have something that gives me a chance.
I mean, Half Man, Half Bear, Half Pig reminds me of Red Fang as well.
Yeah.
I love Red Fang.
Love Red Fang.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
So you've got a nice blend of everything kind of in the mixing pot at the moment. Again, is there going to be a team Witchy as a band, or is it too early for that yet?
It's still
Both.
Yeah. We just arrive everywhere in a boat. We only play near water. That'd be class, man. Imagine that. Like fucking Vikings just turning up in a gig.
You're sorted for Cork and Limerick then straight away.
Yeah. Hey man, I'd love to play there. I was in Limerick a couple of months ago. I would man, I'd love to get playing down there, and Cork as well.
Yeah, that can be sorted.
Love seeing Limerick. Yeah.
Ooh.
Love seeing Limerick lads. Yeah.
Class. Yeah. See the home of the Terry Wogan statue. I'm all about it.
Yeah, it's what it's known for.
Right.
And the chicken hut. Yeah.
Chris, you still have a chance to redeem yourself there by just saying the siege. Let me.
Yeah. Literally,
Chris.
Obviously, the siege. The siege is like Ireland's freaking mecca, isn't it? Like that's what you want to do.
Going.
Yeah.
As soon as you get to play the siege, you know you've made it in Irish metal. So that's on our bucket list.
So I have to re-edit that. So I'll put that in before Terry Wogan.
Yeah.
You owe me a beer there for that one, Chris.
You can edit this in. Just fuck Terry Wogan. Just
fucking Terry Wogan.
May a pigeon shit on his face. Yeah.
So the next plans for the bands this year, like, I mean, we're in September now almost. Are you going to just see out the year, taking a few gigs, or what's thrown at you there? Or are you just going to knuckle down and try and get an EP out for us?
Need to get recording. Need to record a lot. Now, the thing is, we're obviously not signed anyone, so we don't owe anyone anything. So I don't think this is an issue if I mention it, Leighton. Do you know what I'm going to talk about? If I talk about the EP, like, do you think I'm okay to go with it? Are you going to send me some angry text afterwards? If do you know where I live?
He's stroking his beard there, folks. Just, I
know, Chris. I know you used to live.
Yeah, right enough.
That's not fair. Oh.
So, well, the idea is like we'd thought about an EP and putting that out, but at this stage, so many people don't really listen to a full record. I mean, let's face it, most people are on Spotify. Most people are just listening to singles or just listening to the top 5, the first 5 you see. So putting an EP out with all the same artwork, it might get some. I feel like some stuff will get lost that way. Okay. So we're going to just keep pumping out our music instrumentally as singles. Each one tells its own story. We're working our music in a set. So what we're doing is on Saturday, we were supporting Sky Pilot, and we decided to do this thing. We had it's like an order service. So like at a funeral, you get like the wee order service with so-and-so's dead. These are like the hymns you sing or whatever. Yeah. So we had the Atlantean set. On the back of it, it had the set list, and inside it had the story of what the story the set was telling. And then between each song, the samples were playing what was written down in the wee leaflet. And it's something cool to keep. No one gets ticket stubs anymore, so it's something cool just to...
That's very good, lads.
That's savage.
So we've got this idea of like each time we play, we're playing a certain set. So like if we're playing, say, 2 weeks in a row, the first night we might play the Atlantean set, then the next night we might play the Diablo set or whatever else we're working on. Interchanging songs, maybe having totally different songs in each set, different experiences. But the EP that will come out, we've got this idea called Uninvited Guests, and basically it's just, anyone else we've played with and we like the sound of the vocalist, I've approached them. And I said, listen, I've got this song. I want you to do vocals on it. And they're like, yeah, fuck yeah. Cool. So we've got quite a nice number of names that are going to do some vocals on an EP of tracks so far. The next one that would be Contagion again. We're going to re-release that, but with vocals. And Aaron from Grave Path is going to do that. Okay. So I don't know if you know Grave Path at all, but they are insanely good. So that's another band I drummed with for a while as well. Oh, yeah. That's another band I was cheating with. For sure.
They actually played the Sky Pilot launch, didn't they?
Yeah, they were with us. Yeah. I
remember.
Yeah, me and Marty had a bit of a thing going on. We had to wear crazy shirts.
They're brilliant.
They were the Crypt as well. They were the night before. They were on the Friday at the Crypt, and we were on the Saturday.
So that's very interesting.
Yeah, man. So that's that. So they're going to have this EP coming out. It's going to be a vocal EP, but obviously we're going to release our own tracks instrumentally with where the vocals may go. We'll have different samples, or we'll have like orchestral kind of sounds, synthesized sounds, things like that, just to beef out on the recording.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do anything that we can't do live.
Oh, that's the key, Chris. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We can't have like a full scale choir through a song if we're not going to have that live. So.
Although the Magnapina are slowly getting there with the amount of members they have.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what they look like on stage at the Siege.
Oh, it'd be
they're going to have to, unbelievable. They're going to have to get a bus to bring on all their members.
Yeah.
Or a boat.
Hey! You could go halves on a boat, lads. With the Magnapina. Yeah.
So that's
it might not make it there though if we're on it.
So that's basically the plan for the year then, Chris, is just to try and get a release out before Christmas, you hope? Or
yeah, well, we'll just, you know what, as soon as the songs are ready, we're going to put them up. As soon as we can,
I suppose, yeah,
as soon as we can tear them out of Charlie's hands and go, right, that's the final mix, dude, that's it. That's the final mix now. Walk away. As soon as we can get that.
There's always one in a band, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's always that one person that is a perfectionist that you're like, just release it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when is the Boat Sank? When is that song agreed upon that it can be released?
Whenever Charlie's weak. Whenever he's tired. Whenever we can wrestle under the ground. Whenever.
Yeah.
No, it's always you have to know. It can't be like if one person's going, that's pretty close, then you know it's not ready. Not until the three of us like text each other or we're all in the room together. Charlie plays it back and we all look at each other and we're like, fuck yeah, that's it. As soon as that happens, then it's like email that through, throw it up on the drive, I'll add it on the Spotify, done.
Yeah.
You know, I have artwork sitting there. I love just playing around with artwork all the time, paying artists to do stuff, and it's all ready to go, you know. So just get the songs done.
Yeah, because I mean, when you look at the trials and tribulations of Andy of the Crawling, what he had to go through for that incredible release, now it's fucking going to be up there, like in contention for album of the year for me anyway. Still, there's no doubt about that. But like, you know, watching his vlogs on the fucking trauma of trying to fucking get a riff out there, and then knowing that he's brought it as far as he can go, and then just go, right, this is it, this is done. It's fucking, so it's something that it's a hard one really, especially if there's like a lot of members in the band. But with a 3-piece, again, no more than the Crawling, like yourselves, it's probably relatively easy for the 3V to finally agree on what's complete, like.
Yeah, the interview you did with Annie was brilliant. I really enjoyed that one when you were going through the track by track. But a lot of the stuff he was saying, I was just like, that's exactly like us three. Look, he was describing the same things we go through. It must be a 3-piece thing. Like you could be like, I really like this, and then the other guys are going, I don't know. That honestly, hats off to you. That was a great one. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
But a lot of influence from him as well. Like when it comes to like the Belfast metal scene, he's kind of one of those, like, he's like the Lemmy, he's the Aussie, you know, one of those like the gods of the scene kind of thing. Like, but yeah, he's the same kind of guy you can have a pint with. And I've only talked to him, I only had him a couple of times. Like, I met him for the first time actually at the Metal and Masses final. He was like interviewing everybody and going around all the bands, and I was chatting to him. I was like, fuck, that's that's not even the Crawling. Holy shit.
And I love that about Andy as well. Like, he'll share his knowledge, and
Yeah, he's very
That's
good like that.
that's such a great thing to have as a person, you know.
But his merch, his whole approach on merch, I love. It's like all the money comes in, let's put it onto something new. Let's put that money into new t-shirts and fucking coins and vinyl and like give me it all. Like give me all that stuff straight in the veins, you know?
Yeah, their merch is unbelievable.
It's so good.
Class. Yeah. What about you with merch?
We've got a couple of things. Yeah, go on the Bandcamp. Everyone go ahead on the Bandcamp now and buy up as much as you can. We've got three t-shirts at the minute, 3 different style t-shirts. We've got our typical black logo tee, which is the one that's selling out quite well. We've got new ones that are going to go up tonight, actually. New white t-shirts with like a propeller, another logo design. We've got the baseball tees, and a big hit actually we did for a laugh. We did mugs and we sold them on Saturday. Got most of them sold. So it's just a mug. It says the boat sank, so it did. It's just like, just shoot up. And people are like, yeah, keep me one of them. I want to do it, you know.
It's weird, isn't it? And I give a shout out to the lads from Haint as well with their wooden spoons.
Yeah, that's class. Like,
yeah, another great 3-piece. Fucking hell, like.
Yeah, they've got a new drummer, I think, as well now. They've got a whole...
Yeah.
They announced that.
Steve left, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So... Oh, yeah, they actually announced...
There's supposed to be some announcement this Friday. I saw on their Facebook recently. It says announcement coming on Friday. So it might be a...
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought I saw it anyway announced, and then maybe it was sitting down. I'm not sure. But another brilliant 3-piece. So
yeah, Belfast, we're full of them, like...
Yeah, and they'll have an EP coming out as well. So it's quite a busy scene up there, Chris. And, you know, it's only for the better for the likes of ye to be looking at these bands. And, you know, I know there's no such thing as rivalry up there or competition, but in the background, you certainly don't want to be left behind either. Like, I mean, there is a...
Richie, let me tell you, man, see from my experience from playing with the band before playing with the Boat Sank, my experience in playing around Belfast is night and day different. There's an attitude shift. See, since after COVID, there's a genuine attitude shift with everybody, not only the fans and people that go to the gigs, which there's way more of. It's within the bands. People generally, instead of being like jealous and wanting someone to feel so you do better, everybody kind of has this feeling of you're happy when people do well.
Yeah.
Because if someone else does well, you're going to do well. Everyone's going to, you know, can you play next Friday? Some bands dropped out. Can you drum with it? Can you play with us? Yeah, of course, we'll be there. Like, honestly, there's the most supportive atmosphere. Everyone's hanging out, having a laugh, having a drink. You know, it was awesome. It's so good. The vibe at the minute is just this really accepting, welcoming family of fucking alcoholic metalheads. It's class.
Class.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It is, and it's down south as well, isn't it, Danielle? It's just great.
Yeah, I think so.
Great
there's
vibe
such a
around
buzz. Yeah, there is definitely. It's pure community. Like, you know, you go out and you're like, hey, and everyone just chats to each other. And yeah, as you said, everybody just wants to see each other get on well.
And there's a great mix because, like, initially for the first few years of the podcast, well, even the first year of the podcast, it was predominantly sludge. Metal that was just there. It was just prevalent. 10-ton slug. There you go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But
they blew me away at the Crypt. Honestly,
they're savage.
And Zora, I think that was so impressed.
One of my favorite bands.
That drummer is like, I have such a crush on that guy.
Yeah, Tom.
He's unbelievable. That day, like, I was like, I couldn't go, and that day I was like, I do my best friend's wedding the week after, and I said if I went, my neck would be fucked. Like, I couldn't. I couldn't go.
I'm still suffering.
Just absolute riffs.
It is, it's intense there. That was a fantastic lineup.
Unbelievable lineup. Yeah,
he did a great job. I was very, very honored to be asked. Flattered, like, and really glad we got that opportunity, you know.
And did you use it to network?
We did, we've got again getting people from that gig that are going to jump on and do vocals in the EP. Came to gigs after that to be like, oh, we saw you at the Crypt, love it. It's we use that network. We need it when we're talking networking. It's the contacts we don't have is getting down south. Like, that's where we need to be. We need to. I need contacts for Dublin, Cork. Love to play in Galway again. Haven't played there in at least 15 years. Limerick, obviously, the Siege. That's our at the minute. It's kind of like our number one. We've done Crypt, which was insanely good. Metal of the Masses.
Yeah.
Siege is where we need to be next.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And the more releases you get behind you, I'm sure that invite will be coming. To be fair. Cool. You're back there with us, Leighton.
Yeah, sorry, I think my Wi-Fi's dipping in and out here. Yeah.
Here, Leighton, you talk for a second. I have to go and turn the light on. I'm just slowly falling into hell.
Darkness is engulfing you, Chris.
Yeah. So what I missed there, it was just on the merch, and then.
Yeah, we were just on about just the scene in general.
And then there was light.
How friendly it is, Leighton. And a lot of there doesn't seem to be any bitter rivalries between bands or anything like that.
No, that's the thing that struck me, Chris. We've been playing Plague Artists and would like the generic sort of local scene and stuff and all, and you play gigs and we would stick around and always see the headline act and stuff like that, but we're used to there's a couple of times whenever we headlined and we basically played for ourselves and the guy that put us on, and everyone else just cleared out.
Yeah.
And we played Metal to the Masses and everyone was there. Everyone stuck around to the very end. And it's just the fact that as we're playing Plague Artists, me and Chris started listening to more progressively heavier stuff, and I think our material was to get heavier. So whenever we eventually into Plague Artists and now we're there and we've got into the metal scene, the metal scene's amazing in Belfast. People stick around to see, the very last band. The bands will stick around. The final was absolutely, I was gobsmacked, playing the final and actually looking out in the crowd. And I always figured the Belfast crowd would be very, hostile and kind of. But yeah, can you hear me okay now? Yeah.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically Mel of the Masses, we were playing the final. I was looking out and people were actually looking back up and smiling at you, and you actually got that whoa, people are actually into this. And I was gobsmacked.
If you get a chance, actually on YouTube, there's Andy Coles, who was the sound guy for Voodoo, the drummer from 7.5 Tons of Beard, who are fucking amazing. Such a good band. Yeah, so he recorded all the bands in the final and put them all up on YouTube. So if you get a chance, go. You should watch that.
Is that under Beardy Noise? Is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Andy's a dude and a half. Love Andy.
He's lit. I saw him at Death Heaven actually on Tuesday night. I'd got him a T-shirt. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram. He was doing sound for the Bronx, and he was touring all Europe with the Bronx, and he was rating on the road different lampposts and aerials and weird shit. This is an 8 out of 10, and his whole genre was just on depending how hungover he was that day. That's where they got the vote. So I made him a T-shirt. It says 8 out of 10 would fuck. And then I saw him on Tuesday night, and he was he threw something at me from across the crowd, and I looked over and he's holding the T-shirt up going, yeah, and I was fucking class. Brilliant.
Yeah, again, an amazing person to have on the scene. And yeah, fantastic. Right, lads, so that's it. We're going to work our magic in relation to trying to get you down south. Leave it with us.
Make it happen. Yeah, for sure, man.
We'll put in the words. Keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic. Right. You've converted 2 of us here. Danielle, I can only see better, stronger and heavier riffs coming our way with the lads. What you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to hopefully catching you down here, and definitely looking forward to the experience that you deliver. From what you're saying, it seems to be something different having those I don't know, what would you say, programs and stuff like that. And really looking forward to it.
They'll go down a treat.
Absolutely, yeah. So keep it up. Looking forward to hearing more releases as well. So
definitely, yeah. Well, look, listen, we'll fire your stuff through, and anytime it comes up, we'll give you his first dibs.
Oh yeah, definitely, and we'll do as much as we can on our side to get the name out there, lads. So you've been listening to Chris and Leighton from the Boat Sank. Shout out to Charlie who couldn't make it. Please head over to their Bandcamp page and check out their merch and releases there, and do spend a few bob and help the lads get up to the next step of merch and recordings. And as I said, thanks for coming on, lads, and best of luck in the future.
Thanks for having us on, man. Really enjoyed it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Leighton. And crucially, support your local metal scene.
Definitely.